I wrestled for about a total of 15 years, and the first couple years, um, I was put up, with opponents that were a lot more experienced than me, a team that was more experienced than me, but that's how I gained my knowledge, so it was good. I was tried out for the Deaf Olympics. Well, really, it was called the International Games for the Deaf. So I tried out and I qualified, and I was really excited. So 1969, the Games for the Deaf were in Washington, D.C., and there were tons of people from different countries. There were Russians, Italians. I met several people, and I enjoyed it so much, learning about their culture. And, I mean, it's not the same as American culture, obviously, so it was really interesting to find out about their life. And, man, the Russians were so much taller than me. I remember them just towering over me. And they were in my same weight class, but they were really tall. But I got 2 silver medals, both in Greco-Roman wrestling. And that's the type of wrestling where you use your upper body only. From the waist down, you don't use it all. There's another style, it's freestyle, which is you use your entire body for that. But I won 2 silver medals, and I was really excited. So, it was my first experience, so I thought I did well. So I trained some more in Minnesota, and 4 years later, it was time to try out again. And I qualified again, and this time we went to Yugoslavia. And at that time, well, we went to Belgrade, the city of Belgrade, and man, was that a different experience. They were really war-torn at that time, and it was just a real scarred place. There was desolate areas. It was very depressing, actually, to see what was going on over there. And they had different food there. Their lifestyle was different. The water was different. It was hard to find good water, actually. I remember I became ill for about 2 weeks just from drinking their water, and I was really weak, and I wrestled horribly. I was getting like third and fourth place, and I wasn't too happy about that. But it was a good experience to see kind of what their life looked like over there. There were a lot of dogs and animals that were just kind of roaming around, and I saw one cow that was just walking across the road, and I was amazed. I mean, you don't see that in America. The farmers obviously had no fences set up, so it was different. They were very behind the times, compared to America. We were so advanced technologically and modern. Everything's modern in America, and so it was really different to see that and experience that. So I went back to Minnesota after those games, and was up against hearing opponents, and was invited to, well, it was 1972. Excuse me, it was 1971, and I was invited to join the hearing Olympics. So I remember I had a cramp at that, with that match, and it was right by my ribs, and I didn't do my best, but I thought I'd better wait and save for the Deaf Olympics. I'd prefer to do that. So I felt strong enough, and I was working out, and at that time it was Malmo, Sweden. And what's interesting, actually, my great grandpa was born in Lund, and that's close to Malmo. And my uncle actually gave me the name of a distant relative, cousin, that we'd lost contact with, and met up with him while I was there. And again, I met the Russians, Italians were there. We were all giving each other hugs and welcoming each other again. And in 1973, even more people, were there than the previous games I'd been to. Because, well, in 1969, Russia was still under the communist regime. And it was just very different for them at that time. So to compare from 69 to 73, they were more friendly. They were chatting with everybody, and they felt more free, just like their country was free. So in 1969, I was a heavyweight, and then in 1973, they changed the rules and regulations for the weight classes. So I was just under about 220 pounds. And, well, they're in kilograms, but I had a better chance because I was going to be in a weight class that I wasn't normally in. So I beat everybody with the Greco-Roman style. I won 2 gold medals, and I just felt amazing. It was awesome. And then I went back to Minnesota and wrestled for a few more years. I was about 35 by this time, and I still felt strong. I figured I had a few more years in me, so at that time the Poland team came to visit, and they wanted to know what Greco-Roman style wrestling looked like. And again, they were towering over me, but by the time I was about 39, I knew I had had it, and I had had a good run and a good career with wrestling.